What's up, people? It's your boy Perfection back again. And yep, I'm just gonna, this is part 2 of the mental health video, so I'm just quickly recap on the last one because I was out of time. I'm gonna try, to be honest with you, even though I can do the videos over 10 to 15 minutes, I'd rather not. I just want to keep it sweet and simple. I find that sometimes when I'm viewing videos on YouTube and they're longer than that, my kind of attention span just kind of drifts, you know, almost like I've been taking a hit from a bong or something. My concentration just kind of goes. So I just want to keep it kind of really short, sweet and simple. Right, so let's recap on the last ones because I was running out of time. So we discovered, the first thing is I made an error. I finished school in something like 1994. Okay. I then went to from 1995 to 2001. I must have spent about 6 years in college trying to get back, trying to prove something to the world that, wait a minute, I'm not a bum, I'm not some lazabout or whatever. And that was maximum effort I put in college, and it was through those years of struggling and things going on, which I'm about to talk about now, that I realised that the mental health was there. But just to quickly recap on the last ones. Alright, so we had the first example of the poker hand, which I think actually explained it rather well, to be honest with you. The second example of the PC, all I want to say about that example is that you got to look at it from both directions, both perspectives. You got to look at it from the perspective of the person with mental health. You know, if they've always believed that what they're living is normal, and then they wake up one day and realize that, wait a minute here, no, this isn't normal. I'm experiencing something here that the average person isn't experiencing. You know, it's different. It's a different set of rules for me. It's not. I'm not able to do what they can do. You know, and I should be able to. Therefore, something must be wrong. From the other side of it, people need to understand that they're experiencing things that makes their life a hell of a lot more harder. So when you say, let's come do this, come do that, come here, you know, come to this social event, there might be things that they're dealing with, social anxiety. It's not as simple. They can't just jump up and do half of the things that you're doing. These things are preventing them from being able to do these things. And the last one is, what was it? Yeah, the running around the park thing. Yeah, that was an out-of-body experience. I think I watched an Oprah Winfrey show, where this woman said her sister went from normal to suddenly developing bipolar, and she said it was almost like her sister overnight became a different person. It's almost like Janine became Marie, you know, Anne-Marie. Janine suddenly changed into a totally different person, so she became Anne-Marie, and Anne-Marie no longer wants to go out. Anne-Marie no longer wants to socialize. Anne-Marie no longer can get up in the morning. You know, it's a different use, you know. So sometimes there's people out there that they don't understand that, you know. And here's the beauty of it: I don't want you to understand it, because if you did, you know, it's not a nice place to be. You know, depression is a small part of it, because everyone experiences depression, you know. And this goes back to example 2 about the PC. Everyone will say, oh yeah, but every PC crashes, you know, or they all crash, you know, that's how it is. Yeah, it's true. My PC now, which is quite good, crashes, you know, every now and then it crashes. But if we're talking about the first tiny PC that I had, which went out of business eventually, that was just, you know, it had issues, it had problems. You know, you'd know the difference between a regular PC crashing and then having the PC that I had. That's a PC with issues, and that's the point I'm trying to make to you as well. But now let's quickly move into the next examples that I was saying. Now this is what people with mental health will most likely be going through. Yeah, this is what this video is about. So the first video is about, so the first thing would probably be, again they're in random order, so the first thing might be concentration. You know, with me personally, I find that my mind's always thinking about things, and the more stressed I am, the more things I'm worrying about. So even as I'm sitting around some people, sometimes there's these thoughts that are coming into my head, and I'm worried about this and I'm worried about that, and because of it I'm kind of unable to concentrate, you know. At the worst, I remember one time I was at the worst where I was leaving to go to work, and you know, I had to, you know, even simply little things like I had a bath, put on my clothes, I and then all of a sudden I forgot where the keys are, so I'm running around the house looking for the keys, spending about 10 minutes looking for the keys, and then I look down and the keys the whole time were in my hand. I was that stressed out, I just couldn't concentrate. I've then gone to work, and I've realised as I jumped on the bus, after me running for the bus as well, that wait a minute here, did I actually put deodorant on? I haven't even put deodorant on. There's so many things going through my mind that I just couldn't focus. So the first thing would be concentration. Second thing would be energy levels. You've got to look at it when it comes to depression. You've got to look at it like energy. How can I explain it to you? It's almost like a computer game. I think everyone at one point now, everyone on YouTube must have played some sort of computer game where your character has you're given a certain amount of points to upgrade your character, right? So I don't know, say your character at 100 has 10 different things. He has strength, speed, power, all those kind of things. Would that be a good way of describing it? I'd say it probably is. Your average person may have 5, so everything is half. Yeah, half speed, half power. But what we want to do is you want to transfer that into everyday living. So you have things like hygiene, having a bath every day. You have things like eating the right foods every day. You have things like ironing your clothes, make sure that the iron is smelling fresh and everything else. You have things like talking, socializing with the people at work. You have things like time, being doing these things on time. What else do you have? Then you have your normal responsibilities at work. All of these things take up a large amount of energy. And let's assume that it took, let's simplify it. Let's assume that your average person has say to get through a normal day, healthy day of life or work. Let's say it takes 15 bars of energy. Yeah, and let's say that your average person has 20. Yeah, and those 15 bars cover those things. They cover the hygiene, they cover your clothes fresh, they cover you eating healthy, they cover you arriving work on time, they cover you being able to do your job. Yeah, the average person has 20 bars. It takes 15 bars a day to do these things. They cover cleaning your house, maybe even looking after the kids. They cover that. Maybe the kids, maybe 15 bars covers your whole working experience, and then you have 5 bars left to look after kids, right? So it's just about covered. With mental health, you'd probably have about 10 bars out of the 20. So what it means is that you're jeopardizing something. Something has to be jeopardized, and that's how it was for me personally. So if I was at work, it might be my hygiene was low. If I was dressed right, it may be that I couldn't concentrate properly. I couldn't perform the job right. If I was eating healthy, so I just didn't have enough energy to focus on all of them. And what happens is after a certain set period of time, it kind of your body's almost in a deficit. It just doesn't have the energy to function like that on a normal daily routine. So what happens is you might get home and you just might pass out. You might just drop on the bed and pass out. You may not even get enough time to eat. You might just pass out. What else is there? So there might be certain days where my clothes were scruffy because I just didn't have the energy. I had the energy to have a wash, be there on time, eat, probably jeopardize eating. It was hard to do all of them. So the second thing I want to say is energy levels, and the very third one would be moods. The best way to describe depression would be moods. Again, you got to look at this way, that with your average person, it's almost like if you think of a number if you think of 1 to 10, your average person say 5, where their moods are, it's balanced. And then occasionally if they're angry, that bar may slide to maybe a 7 of anger, and then within the next hour, or maybe even a couple hours, it slides back down to 5. You know, sorry, so we'll say that above 5 is happy, we'll say below 5 is negative, right? So if they're angry, it might slide down to a 3, and then occasionally it slides back up to the 5. Okay, if they're happy, it slides up to a 7, and occasionally it slides back down to a 5. With depression, the problem with depression is, or with most mental health, is that it's extreme. Every mood is extreme. So when you're angry, that bar slides up to a 10. You're now overly angry, yeah, and you don't get over it. Well, me personally, it's very hard for me to get over it in the next couple of hours. That could last for 2 weeks. I could be angry for 2 weeks until I get over that. Now that's 2 weeks of me at work angry, walking around angry, and it's all emotions. If you love someone, you overly love someone. You know, if you don't like someone, you probably don't want to talk. No, I wouldn't say I hate anyone. There's no one I hate, but I just don't want to talk to them at all, kind of thing. So it's hard to gauge your emotions, and every day you have to kind of. That's the number one thing that I personally focus on, and that in itself, if you go back to my previous example of energy, that takes up a lot of energy, just to try to control it. You know, I'm feeling too angry now, so now I have to focus on, right, look, you feel angry, pretend that you're not angry, pretend that you're happy, you know. And it's me kind of, my face is, I'm walking up to people saying, oh, thank you, please, but my face is saying something different. My face is like, and sometimes you're not even aware of the facial expressions that you're giving off, you know. I've been in, you know, when I was training to become a counsellor, my counsellor said to me, Luke, when you come into this room, you're just filled with energy. And I said, oh, that's funny, because I don't feel that way. That's not how I feel inside. She said, you are. And, you know, and I could see it was making her angry. Yeah, no, I didn't have any control over this. So in a situation like that, what am I going to do? I'm going to obviously try to remove myself from it, aren't I? Because if I can't control it, there's nothing I can do over it, and she's kind of, it's making her angry and hatred towards me, then it becomes a kind of. So the last one is moods. It's very hard to gauge those moods and control them, you know, to get them under kind of, you know, it's either too much of something or too little, and the recovery time it's a lot more longer. So moods also affect it. So that I would say those would be the main 3 things. It would be energy levels, it'd be moods, and I can't remember what I said the first one was. Energy levels, I can't remember what the first one is, but again, you've got the video. So and the last thing I'll say to you is that with these things, because you're experiencing this kind of negativity, that's all, this kind of, you know, dark cloud hanging over your head, you're always in a negative state, it's most likely to affect you physically as well. So all kinds of things, you're likely to be affected physically from it, you know, because when you're in that negative state, it does affect your immune system. It breaks down the immune system, and when the immune system is broken down, you're more likely to be affected by other things as well, physical things. I suffer from severe irritable bowel syndrome. My stomach is really messed up. Every now and then I get eczema flare-ups and things like that. So yeah, it's that's what they're most likely going through. Now I can't describe every single person with mental health out there, but those 3 things will most likely be affecting them in a big way. Right, so the next video that I'm going to do is going to be on this is for people with mental health, how I get over it, ways that I use to try and cope, and things to avoid, things to definitely stay away from, and things that you would be encouraged to participate in order to stay strong in these things. So again, I want to say, luckily I have 30 seconds or more, so I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for showing interest. Hopefully these videos can kind of help you if you have someone beside you, you know, someone around you that suffers from mental health, maybe you're worried about them, because I had a story where a woman came to me before a guy committed suicide, and we sat down, we talked about it. We did try and help him, but unfortunately he did end up taking his own life. But you know, these videos are there to kind of help you understand. But alright, before I go over time, I'm going to say I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.